Once upon a time, there lived a young lady called Uloma. Uloma was a very simple and pretty lady, and her parents were very hard-working people. They were neither rich nor poor, so they lived a decent life. They made sure they provided the basic necessities for their children, so their children hardly lacked and were contented with what they had, except Uloma. Uloma was a girl who we always wish she had something better. She was never contented with her present situation. Even when her parents got her a gift, she would keep looking at it to point out one or two faults and to give excuses as to why she doesn't like it, without first being appreciative. Before her parents noticed her character, they would always look for ways to please her. But later on, they realized that they were spoiling her as her character got worse. Anytime she starts complaining about something, they would always scold her and tell her to be contented with what she has. One day, it was her birthday and her parents went to work and acted like they had forgotten about her day, and she became sad. But in the evening, they got back home and surprised her with a birthday cake and other gifts. She was happy and opened all her presents, and surprisingly, she liked everything. But she still went ahead to complain about the birthday cake, saying that it was too small. She said that her friend Chioma had a bigger cake and she wanted hers to be as big as that. Her parents told her that that was what they could afford, and if they had more money, they would have gotten a bigger one. But she kept complaining, and this got everyone angry, including her sister, because she was complaining about a trivial thing. So they all left her alone. She failed to realize that Chioma, her friend, is from a wealthy home and they can afford to even throw a big party for her. Uloma never missed an opportunity to compare herself with others. She was advised severally that she should not be in a competition with others, as they had their own lives to live, while she had hers, but none of the advice got to her. One day, while she was spending time with her friend Chioma, she noticed that Chioma was looking really beautiful that day, and this made her uncomfortable. She went home and looked at herself in the mirror and started complaining that she didn't like the way she looked. Her looks became her new problem. She began looking for ways to enhance her beauty. She asked Chioma what she could do to look more beautiful, and Chioma laughed at her, saying that she even wished that she could look as beautiful as her friend Uloma. Uloma could not see her own beauty because she was not content with herself. One day, she came across an old friend who told her that she knew of a powerful witch doctor and directed her on where to find the witch doctor in order to enhance her looks. The girl claimed that the witch doctor is so powerful and she's capable of performing any magic. She became excited and went there on a day that no one was home to avoid being questioned. When she got there, she was scared because the place looked very scary and dangerous. She wanted to go back home, but summoned the courage to enter into the hut. When she got in, the witch doctor asked her in a harsh tone, "What do you want?" And in fear, she replied her saying that she wanted something that could make her look more beautiful. The woman was amazed and told her that she is one of the most beautiful girls that she had ever seen, and there was no need to enhance her beauty. She told Uloma to make another demand, but Uloma was adamant and insisted on the same thing. The witch doctor had no choice, then went in and brought out a magical powder and handed it to Uloma. and she was very happy. The witch doctor told Uloma to wait and listen to the conditions before celebrating. The first rule to using this powder was that Uloma had to rub the magical powder once every single day, and she would become the most beautiful girl in the village. The second rule was that on no account should any other person rub the magical powder. If Uloma misses a day in rubbing the powder or another person rubs it, she will turn into an ugly old witch and the powder will no longer possess any magical powers. It will become an ordinary powder that anyone can use. At this point, Uloma was skeptical as she thought about the consequences of breaking these rules, because the last thing she wanted was to become an ugly old witch. She considered going back home without the magical powder to avoid it backfiring on her, but she finally made up her mind to go home with it. Besides, there were just 2 rules to keep, and she believed that she could keep them as long as the magical powder will make her the most beautiful girl in the village. The witch doctor tried convincing her that she doesn't need the powder as she was already very beautiful and there was no cure if she breaks any of the rules, but she didn't listen. She ran back home with the magical powder and hid it in a very safe place in her room so no one would find it. The next day, she started using the magical powder and hid carefully in order not to be caught by anyone. Before the week ran out, the once beautiful Uloma became even more beautiful. Everyone admired and complimented her beauty. She began to radiate and glow. The more she used the powder, the more beautiful she became. She became the most beautiful girl in the village and she was envied by other girls. When her family or anyone asked for the secret of her beauty, she would just say that she now eats healthy food and she takes her sleep more serious, though they didn't believe her. This went on for months, and one day her sister Nena couldn't take it any longer because she knew that Uloma's new look wasn't an ordinary thing, as she became extremely beautiful. She kept on pestering Uloma to tell her the secret to her beauty, but Uloma kept telling her irrelevant things and joking around. This made Nena become even more inquisitive, and she started sneaking around into Uloma's room because she believed that it was probably a cream or makeup that changed Uloma's looks. Whenever Uloma was out of the house, she would quietly tiptoe into her room and ransack the whole room. She searched everywhere but couldn't find anything because Uloma made sure she hid the magical powder properly. Nena was determined to find the secret to her sister's beauty, and one day, while searching, she looked under Uloma's wardrobe and found the powder there. She was happy and at the same time doubted that it was just the powder that made her sister look that beautiful. But she had a second thought that for Uloma to have hidden the powder, then it must be one of the secrets to her beauty. She opened the magical powder and rubbed it on her face. While she was rubbing it, Uloma came home and walked into the room and caught her sister with the magical powder. She screamed, and with shock, Nena threw the powder away. While Uloma was still screaming, she started transforming into an old witch, and in fear, her sister shouted and ran out of the room. Uloma turned into an ugly old witch, and in fear, she quickly ran to the witch doctor's house. When the witch doctor sighted an old witch approaching, she knew that that was Uloma, and she had broken one of the rules. She shook her head and felt a great pity for her. Uloma cried and begged her to reverse it, but it was too late. The witch doctor tried all she could, but there was no cure for it. When her parents saw her, they were scared, but after she explained all that had happened, they felt really bad for her and decided to hide her in the house. But it was already too late. Some of the villagers saw her and the news spread all around. The villagers came to Uloma's house to banish her from the village because they believed it was a curse for a witch to live among them. She regretted her actions, but it was too late to turn a new leaf. What we can learn from this story is that we should always be contented and satisfied with what we have or who we are in life, irrespective of how big or small it is. And we should also refrain from comparison, as comparison is the thief of joy. That is, comparing ourselves to others can make us see ourselves as inferior, or it can build resentment and envy towards others. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notification to get notified when next I post a new video. Bye!